June is actually a fantastic time to build a gaming PC in 2025. We've got lower prices on GPUs across the board. We've got new mid-range GPUs that just got launched, and PC parts like CPUs, motherboards, RAM, and SSDs remain at historic lows. We've got 3 amazing builds for this episode. We're going to start off with a $780 1440p gaming PC build that is going to completely shock you in value. Then we're going to jump up to a $1,200 mid-range 1440p gaming destroyer, and we'll finish off with an $1,800 gaming PC with an X3D CPU and super high-end GPU. If you get value out of this video, please give it a like as it makes a huge difference to the channel, and of course subscribe for more cool PC content. Let's jump into it. This video is sponsored by VIP SSD Key. Say goodbye to crazy expensive Windows licenses and that terrible Activate Windows watermark. Right now, use the links in the video description, head over to VIP SSD Key and get a Windows 10 or 11 OEM license for a great price. Pick your product license, then use the PC Builder discount code PC25 for an additional 30% off. Go to the activation settings on your PC, put in the code, and boom! Windows is fully licensed for a crazy low price. And they have Microsoft Office licenses too. Use the links in the video description. Let's jump into that $780 insane 1440p gaming PC build. Now, if you didn't check it out, we did a whole RX 9060 XT build guide video. We started basically around $800 and went all the way up to $1,000 with different builds that you can kit out. Among the cheapest builds that we built was something like this. This is an amazing $778. It's gonna destroy the PS5 Pro, and it's a PC, so you can do things with it that you can't do. How much video editing can you do on a PS5 Pro, right? This is an amazing gaming PC, and you're gonna be able to upgrade it into the future here. Let's jump into the GPU because this is the big challenge right now. The RX 9060 XT, now the MSRP is $349, and we did go through every single RX 9060 XT model, so check out this video, and this is our big spreadsheet of all of them right here. Check it out, see which ones are in stock right now at the time that you've got it. And you can, of course, consider the RTX 5060 Ti 16 gigabyte in its place. Just know that it is selling for quite a pretty penny right now. However, fingers crossed that we see these prices for the 5060 Ti 16 gigabyte calm down. And these are also kind of the cheaper, more MSRP models. The MSRP is supposed to be $429 for this card. Clearly, they're not there yet. These are the kind of cheaper models, right, that are supposed to be at MSRP. You compare that against the models you can get with the 9060 XT. I think it comes out in favor of the 9060 XT, but you can decide for yourself. For the rest of the build, we want a CPU that's not going to bottleneck our GPU too badly, and I think the Ryzen 5600 or the i5 12400F are great CPUs. Now, right now, I would say the Ryzen 5600, now you're normally like, Jason, AM4, super upgradable, you'll just drop in the 5700 X3D. Unfortunately, that CPU's been kind of sold out for a while. It's like $270 right now as I'm filming this. I actually don't think that the Ryzen AM4 platform is as upgradable as the LGA 1700. So let's jump there. Either you can get a 5600, you're gonna use the included stock cooler here, the Ray Stealth, 2 thumbs up, absolutely great. And then we're gonna get a Gigabyte B550M DS380. You could also look at other $99 to $110 motherboards. Right now, they're all about $110, $120. And you're looking for a B550 micro ATX motherboard out there. This one has Wi-Fi on it. Or you go with the Intel i5 12400, $108, comes with its own included stock cooler that's absolutely adequate with it. By the way, the 13400, 14400, the stock cooler is not enough. I would recommend replacing it. And then we go with an amazing motherboard with the ASRock B660M Pro RS. This is a great motherboard. It's got plenty of rear panel USB connectivity. And in the future, you can drop in an i5 13600K or 14600K, and you're gonna get the similar performance to the Ryzen 7600X or 9600X on it. Totally insane because those CPUs right now are only $189, where again, the 5700X 3D, it's like $280 right now, so that's a big disparity to me. I would lean towards the LGA 1700 platform for future upgradability. For the rest of the build, either way, we want to go DDR4. We don't want to go DDR5 with the Intel platform. It's just too expensive for what we're getting. Then we might as well jump up to like a Ryzen 7600 instead. So I went with the Silicon Power 2x16 gigabyte DDR4 3200 CL16, 3600 CL18 RAM is also fine here. It's the same cache latency. Just don't get anything super fast. Don't go to 4000 speed because the memory controllers start to have a little bit of problems even at 3600 speed. So I like the 3200 CL16 stuff. And again, I would definitely get 32 gigabytes of it. There's not a huge cost savings for only going for 16 gigabytes. And we know some games these days do micro stutter with only 16 gigabytes of RAM. For the drive, I just went with a cheap 1 terabyte NVMe SSD. I went with the Silicon Power UD91 terabyte. This is a really good performer Gen 4 NVMe SSD. Now these don't have DRAM on them, and we're building a budget gaming PC. So get a budget gaming PC drive. You don't need like a Samsung 990 Pro or anything crazy like Western Digital SN850X, any of those crazy drives out there. Just get something like this. It is great for everyday use. For the case, you have a lot of options here. I decided to highlight the Thermaltake Versa H16. This also comes in a white version just because I like the Thermaltakes also competing out in here in the budget category. And we didn't list this in our best PC case 2025 video. I'll leave that link down in the video description. There's tons of options around $60 because it was out of stock at the time and I wasn't sure it was going to be coming in stock. So I want to highlight it right now. It's got 3 ARGB fans. It's nice and roomy. It's a nice micro ATX size PC case. Again, what else do you want for $61? But there's plenty of other options out there from Okanos, from Bitphoenix, tons, and even Thermaltake has some other options right around $70 as well. For the PSU, we're gonna make this super simple. We're gonna go with the Montech APX 650 watt. That's really all we need. CPU super low power. The GPUs are super low power. Even if you go with the 5060 Ti, they're both super low power out there. For $51, we're going to get a C-tier rated PSU. Again, this is a budget build. C-tier rated is absolutely fine on the SPL PSU tier list. And that's what Montech makes here. There are 750 watt units for like $10 more if you want to get a little bit more power. But I wouldn't spend any more money than I have to, and this is a great PSU for that. So all told, for $780, you're gonna get amazingly performant 1440p gaming PC capable of powering through the latest titles at relatively high frame rates. High frame rates in 2025. It's going to crush things like the PS5 Pro out there. This is going to allow you a future upgrade path. You'll drop in either a 5700 X3D or an i5 13600K or 14600K in this in the future, and then you'll be able to upgrade the GPU as well. So $778, this is really hard to do. Let's jump into that $1,200 1440p high FPS gaming PC, or honestly, if we go a little bit more expensive, just like $40 or $50, you could do 4K pretty easily on this, Now, I finished out $1,231.91. And I think this is about as tight as I can make it without losing any performance. Well, let's start off where else, the GPU. Now you gotta have two options here. Realistically, you can either go with the RTX 5070 12 gigabyte, which right now you can pick up for $605. $605. I know there's some PNY models that keep coming in and out of stock at both Walmart and Best Buy. I'll leave links to them down in the video description. They're out of stock because I'm filming this, and those were $549. Of course, grab the MSRP one if you can. Your alternative here is, of course, the 9070 non-XT 16 gigabyte GPU for $649. Finally, these GPUs are getting into stock. The prices are coming down. The cheapest one, like just a couple weeks ago, was like $700 and something. Now we're down to $649. So fingers crossed the prices on these will continue to fall as AMD does ramp up supply on them. Now, in terms of performance, let's take a look at the Techpowerup PowerColor Hellhound RX 9070 review, which also has the RTX 5070 data on it. So let's take a look. The Hellhound gets 120 average FPS across a wide range of games. I think it's like 23 games. At ultra settings, by the way, you can always turn it down to high in order to get more FPS, but that's a lot of FPS, right? The 5070, not far behind, 114 average FPS. It's really just the 12 gigabytes versus 16 gigabytes. I think the 12 gigabytes is not going to last as long as the 16 gigabytes, but if you wanted to go NVIDIA, if you want DLSS 4, I don't think it's a terrible option given that your next step up is hundreds of dollars away. If you're wondering how the 9070 performs in a wide range of games, here's their kind of spreadsheet for all the games. You can, of course, check out this full review link down in the video description. The rest of the build, you actually have a number of different CPU options. I opted to go with AM5 and the Ryzen 7600X here, but you do have other options. In fact, if you're an Intel person, the i5 13600K and 14600K are the same price as the 7600X, and the Z690, Z790 motherboards out there, including DDR5 motherboards, are actually a little bit cheaper right now. That being said, you get future upgradability with the 7600X. In the future, you're going to drop in a 9800 X3D in here, or a couple of years' time, you'll drop in whatever they call the next generation of X3D processors is as well. And we're gonna get a motherboard that will easily take that. And they're not very expensive either. But for $189, you could certainly pick up the 7600X, or if you want to go with just a little bit more money, you could go with something like the Ryzen 9600X for $208. Newegg right now actually has it with a 500 gigabyte NVMe SSD. I wish it was 1 terabyte. Come on, get 1 terabyte going. This thing would fly off the shelves at $208 for that. But if you're looking to maybe get a little bit of extra storage and get this upgrade, maybe it's not a bad 20 bucks spent. For the great thing about those Ryzen 5 7600, 9600X, you can just cool them with a budget tower air cooler. Yes, you can get a liquid cooler if you want to go that route. You can get a bigger cooler if you want. You don't really need to. Check out our best CPU Cooler 2025 guide. We go through all the CPUs and what cooling I would recommend for them. Budget Tower Air Cooler is a great choice. I went with the id Cooling SE214XE, but I want you to check this out. Thermalright Assassin X120R Digital. $7 more. Honestly, I'd probably spend the $7. I just was already a little over the budget I'd set up for myself, so I didn't want to do it. But look at that. You get a digital CPU, possibly even GPU temperature readout there. That is super duper cool for just $25 and easily cool that CPU. For the motherboard, you have a couple of different options. I know ASRock boards right now, because of their issues that they had primarily with the X3D, the 9800 X3D CPUs out there, they have kind of gone on the wayside right now. It does look like with ASRock's newest BIOS, which is 3.25, for most of them, a couple of them have a 3.26 out there where they fixed another little bug in it. That seems to have solved the X3D CPU problem, but if you don't want to get an ASRock board, I'll have another recommendation for you. But otherwise, I'd go with the ASRock B850M Pro-A Wi-Fi. The VRMs are good enough, and they will be good enough for a future X3D CPU upgrade on them. It's got pretty decent Wi-Fi connectivity. It's got Wi-Fi 6E, and it's got nice matte black styling to it. 3 M.2 NVMe SSDs, all of them are at full bandwidth. None of this half bandwidth stuff. Honestly, for $129 with Wi-Fi on it, not only that, but you get pretty good rear panel USB connectivity as well. You get 4 high-speed USB ports, including a Type-C, and you get 4 USB 2.0 ports. I think it's a great motherboard with, again, decent enough VRMs for $129. If you don't want to go with that board, I also like the TUF Gaming B650M-E Wi-Fi. I will say the B850 I just showed you, yes, it does come with a PCIe Gen 5 GPU slot. I don't really think it's necessary for this class of PCs, but if you disagree with me, go ahead and grab that instead. This is going to be PCIe Gen 4. Again, perfectly adequate for all the GPUs that we're looking at. $139. It has one less M.2, slightly better styling. The VRMs are essentially the same. The connectivity is essentially the same. It's really just going to be up to which one you want to buy. For the RAM, I just went basic here. You could go RGB for another $10 if you want. This is the Patriot Viper Venom 32 gigabyte kit. DDR5 6000 CL30. Even if you go with the Intel builds that I was just talking about, DDR5 6000 CL30, the price to performance is absolutely insane on that memory for either Intel or AMD platforms right now. And at $79, it's hard to beat this one. If you do want ARGB, they are like another, I'd say $15. You can go look at the T-Force Delta kits that we've used. There's some great ones by Silicon Power. You can grab a G-Skill kit as well. For the drive, I went with 1 terabyte, and we're gonna go with a budget NVMe SSD. Check out our best SSD for gaming 2025 video. We give you tons and tons of options. I'm just picking what is right now the cheapest one. That is the Clev Crest C910 1 terabyte. Personally, I would opt for the cheaper drive, but again, if you want DRAM, go for it. For the case, check out our best PC Case 2025 video. There's tons of options, either right at $60 or just under $60. And Okanos is doing a great job. They're a brand that we've highlighted. I went with the Aqua 3 here. This is a good case. It's got 3 included ARGB fans. Now, this is basically a negative pressure setup, so that it blows air out, creates negative pressure, and then air comes in at the bottom here, at that bottom grill. And that's what you're gonna clean off with the dust. If you don't wanna do that, if you want fresh air intake, just take the fans on the top, flip them over, voila, there you go. Now you have 2 intake and 1 exhaust. And again, there's tons of other great cases for this price point, so check out that video. For the PSU, we need about 700 watts. We're almost in the range where we could get away with 650, but not quite. And honestly, right now, the PSU market's a little scrambled. I would say most of the C-tier rated units are too expensive. I would just spend another $5 or $10 which is what I did here, and I would get something like the Core Reactor 2 VE 750 watt unit. This is A tier rated on the SPL PSU tier list, new PSU tier list, remember. So this is A tier rated out there. There's a Vetru one that's only $5 more if you want to go that direction instead. And again, if you do decide to go with the NVIDIA option on, it's got the 12 volt high power and it is the ATX 3.1 as well. So even though it says 3.0, it's incorrect. The VE is the 3.1, so 2 thumbs up. All told, for right around $1,230, maybe $1,250, you're going to get an amazingly performative 1440p gaming PC. It's capable of super high frame rates right now, well over 100 FPS right now in pretty much any game that you want to play at reasonable settings, either high or ultra. And it's going to be able to do that now and into the future. You're going to have that future upgradability to the AM5 platform. I absolutely love this build for its flexibility and its performance right now. Let's jump into that $1,800 amazing 4K or 1440p high FPS build. You're going to crush it either at 4K or 1440p insane frame rates. Insane frame rates. I finished out at $1,819.12. You do not need to spend this much for it. $1,800 is kind of a target price. You can actually do this build for probably about $150 less pretty easily if you go a different route, or you could go up to $2,000 if you wanted to add even more premium components, more storage, stuff like that. So let's dive into what else the GPU. Now, in this particular build, I went with the RTX 5070 Ti, which is the more expensive of the two options at $825, and I went with the Gigabyte WindForce. There's a couple of GPUs kind of that are the cheapest RTX 5070 Ti. They're all great GPUs. Now, if you want to know what the difference is between all the models, we did a whole video called Every RTX 5070 Ti Model. We go through all the models. We tell you the difference between the overclocks, the cooling solutions, the ARGB, the size and dimensions of the card. So check that out. I do like the Gigabyte WindForce. Another good one that's coming in and out of stock right now around this price point is the MSI Shadow, and then the Zotac Solid are also all three good cards. So I picked up this for $825. But if you want to spend a little bit less money, maybe get the same FPS, we'll go through the FPS in just a second, you can pick up a combo deal for the RX 9070 XT. That is if you can't just get it in stock. It has been pulsing into stock around $730 to $699 even sometimes. But if you don't get it when it's in stock, these combo deals are pretty much always available. Let's check them out at Newegg. So right now you can get one even with a gaming monitor. So you can get a $699 RX 9070 XT with a 240Hz 1440p OLED gaming monitor for $499. That is an insane deal. Off the hook deal. And this is the one I would pick up if you are planning to go OLED. You could think about grabbing this. But let's say you just wanted to pick up one of the motherboard deals. I would pick this one up. This is the Gigabyte Gaming RX 9070 XT OC model, along with the Gigabyte B850 Gaming Wi-Fi 6. It's a perfectly adequate motherboard. It's a little less premium than the board we're using, but the board we're using is a lot more expensive. So, you can pick which one you want. Or if you don't mind going with the ASRock motherboards, because fingers crossed that those ASRock motherboards with the latest BIOS update that ASRock just released, fingers crossed that's going to completely eliminate it. So far, it looks like the 9800 X3D failures have massively slowed down. So 2 thumbs up there. But I could easily see going with the Gigabyte combo instead. So how much FPS do you get for $1,800 using either one of these GPUs? Let's start off at 1440p. This is the Techpowerup Sapphire Pulse review. I will leave it linked down in the video description. You can check it out. We're looking at their average FPS for 1440p. This is across about a 23 game average. Some of these are really difficult to run titles, all at ultra settings. Remember, don't game at ultra, game at high settings, but this is just gonna give you a worst case scenario. 132 average FPS for the RX 9070 XT, and this is not one of the overclocked models. And then for the 5070 Ti, 141 average FPS. So 2 thumbs up there. Either of these GPUs is going to give you really, really good FPS at 1440p. And then at 4K, they're both very good performers, right around 80 average FPS. Slightly faster for the 5070 Ti, slightly slower for the 9070 XT. But again, these are ultra details. For the rest of the build, I went big on the CPU. I went with the Ryzen 7800 X3D. I didn't feel like we need a 9800 X3D for these GPU levels. You just don't. 7800 X3D at 1440p and 4K is really going to give you pretty much all the CPU power that you're going to need. And of course, if this isn't enough 2 years time, you're going to be able to drop in whatever they call Zen 6 X3D, 1100 X3D or 1000 X3D. For $384, I feel like this is a pretty good compromise. It's about $100 less than 9800 X3D. Now, if you don't want to spend this kind of money, Honestly, you could go with a Ryzen 5 CPU like the 7600X, 9600X, or just bump it up to like the 7700X instead for a little bit more gaming performance. I just decided to go big or go home. For the cooler, I know a lot of people are like, Jason, you're always using liquid coolers for these higher end builds. We want to see some air coolers. Okay. Here's a great air cooler. This is a Thermalright Peerless Assassin 120 Digital. This is the award-winning Thermalright Peerless Assassin, one of the fastest, best CPU coolers out there right now. Tons and tons of cooling for this CPU. This CPU does not need it, but for only $45, we're also getting this awesome digital screen on top of it that's going to tell us our CPU and our GPU temps. Let's go a little RGB and let's go with this cool digital screen. For the motherboard, I went with the ASUS TUF Gaming B850- Plus Wi-Fi. And I did so I hemmed and hawed on this because it is expensive at $229. Do I feel like it justifies its existence at $229? Just barely. And that's mostly because most of the good X670E deals have sold out, and I can't really find a lot of those anymore. So this becomes what we want. Now, I will say that ASUS is re-releasing the B650 Plus with this same styling and an upgraded PCIe Gen 5 GPU slot on it for $20 less. But the reason I went with this one is it's got more high-speed USB connectivity. In fact, this one right here has tons and tons of connectivity to it. It's 8 high-speed USB ports, including a Type-C, and then it's got 2 USB 2.0 ports on it. It's got Wi-Fi 7 on it. It has 3 full bandwidth M.2 NVMe's, and again, that PCIe Gen 5 GPU slot on it, which is super awesome, I think. And I absolutely love the styling. This is the one that we used in our 9800 X3D build guide, and we really did love working with this board. For the RAM, DDR5 6000 CL30, I'm a super broken record with this. I just went with a kind of cost-effective kit here from Silicon Power. This is the Zenith kit, DDR5 6000 CL30. Just burn that into your memory and then just go out and grab whichever kit you want. Don't be tempted by this like CL36 stuff, these weaker kits out there. With a CPU like the 7800 X3D, it really doesn't matter as much. I'll grant you that, but you don't really save much money, so just spend the money and get the right stuff. For the drive, I just went with the Clevcraft C910 again. Or you can go with the Silicon Power UD90, the Western Digital SN580. Any of those budget drives are absolutely fine for gaming. If, again, you feel like you need something with a little bit more punch, some DRAM to it, I do like the T-Force G70 Pro Graphene. 2 thumbs up on that one. Pretty affordable as well. Otherwise, just grab something like this or just double your storage here for $99. For the case, 2 thumbs up. Yes, finally, the Montech XR is back in stock, sold and shipped by Amazon. Hopefully, it'll also be at Newegg relatively soon. This case, super popular, has been out of stock for freaking ever. The white one's also in stock. You can do this whole build, by the way, in all white. But if you want to go black, the black case is finally back in stock. This is a super premium case. I absolutely love that it's got the rubber grommet covers on it. It's $72. Now, look, I know it was cheaper. It used to be $63. The price has gone up a little bit. We don't have to get into why prices might be going up a little bit, especially with the aluminum and steel tariffs out there are impacting PC cases. So you are going to see case prices, if you're in the US, float up at least a little bit right now, despite the cessation of some other tariffs. But you can also get it in white. The fans on the side there, they're actually reverse blade. So they're actually pulling air in and then one exhaust fan there. Now, with an air cooler, without the liquid cooler, you don't exactly have additional fans blowing out. So you could pick up a 3-fan pack for like, $30 or $40. It's ARGB that works really well for this case as well. For the PSU, I went with the Vetru 850 watt PSU. This is ATX 3.1, PCIe 5.1, fully modular, has that 12 volt high power cable for the NVIDIA GPU on it. And it's A tier rated on the SPL PSU tier list. It went up. It was $89. I have noticed that they are steadily creeping up in price. But one of the reasons I like this is if you want an all-white build or you want to do like white cables, this one right here comes with white cables for $94. You don't have to buy a cable extension kit for it. And then if you want to do pink, I know some people like absolutely want to do a pink build. There you go right there, $94. You can get this in all kinds of crazy colors. So for right around $1,800 or even less, if you go with one of those RX 9070 XT combo deals, you're probably about $115, $150 less, you're going to get an amazingly performative 1440p super high FPS Or honestly, I would game at 4K in this. I'd turn on FSR4, turn on DLSS4, and get tons and tons of frames. And this build is going to set you up not only for now, but far, far into the future. Remember, everything is linked down in the video description. Check out those links for current pricing and availability in your region. And of course, if you got value out of this video, please give it a like. It makes a huge difference to the channel, especially this guy right here who slept through the whole thing once again. Don't forget to subscribe for more cool content. What kind of cool content, Mr. Bear? Like, did you check out our best GPU to buy in June 2025? What's the best GPU at every budget level? Check it out. We go through every single one, including the new launches. Check it out, and we'll catch you on the next one.